Hello, everyone. Good evening. I just want to talk about something that has to do with. Of course, I gotta be straightforward with what I want to say. It's like I want to communicate to people who would be listening or watching my video because I kind of feel like I want to connect and gain more friends, especially that I've been experiencing having connection with people through the internet. And to make things simple here is just that I want to speak my mind about many stuff. Although I may not be in the best position to speak about topics that I like to brought up to the table, but I got something to say, like having opinions, of course, because everyone has something to say. So for my own self, I'm trying to speak about in my mind right now is the motivational power that people are having with the cause and the effect from others to somebody else, like a chain reaction. What I want to say is that, of course, I want to organize my thoughts because the train of my thoughts is kind of like making me speak about jumping one topic to another. But right now, I just want to say something that has to focus on what it has to do with everything that a church does to a person. So first, I want to talk about the staggering amount of number of people suffering from depression. Okay, I am not a psychologist and I don't experience depression and I haven't met people who are suffering from depression. But I'm a type of person who easily cry whenever I get so emotional with the things that do happen around that I see on TV, when I watch movies or anything that makes me cry, like uh, songs like that. But that doesn't mean when a person is crying is already depressed, right? But it really helps when people get to understand the differences through observing people from all walks of life, of how really it is for people who are deeply emotionally having struggles. Because I was just trying to make my thoughts on how really is when a person cry, when people experience sadness, when people feel depressed. It's just that I'm trying to put my feet on the other person's kind of experience, but not in the context of living the kind of life that they are experiencing. What I mean to say is just through the understanding that I I have in my own mind with whatever it is, to just have the idea of how is it like for a person who experience something in life, such as, yeah, the depression. That's what I meant. So with the idea of uh, trying to reach out to people who experience depression, is that uh, of course we have to, I mean, I myself would like to understand, but it's not easy to really do uh, get into involving yourself or oneself to people who are depressed, because to really know the thing that do happen to people who are depressed or experiencing deep problems and sufferings in life, that's why people get depressed, because of so much problems. People get stressed, people having losing hope, something like that, and it's really hard when that happens. So with my idea, I'm so happy and blessed that uh, I got my whole life in the right track, that I feel like God is really blessing me with his grace, covering me with all of the protection. That's why I feel like I'm free from depression, and I'm so happy with my life. I'm content. And but what I mean to say is that when I will try to analyze and understand what is going on in the world today, it's just that how come that other people will really do feel uh, uh, more relief from depression. It is because when other people would just have in their uh, daily life, like some people, put it like this. Some people live alone. There are people who doesn't have family. There are people who are homeless. There are people who are having trouble with their finances. There are so many people who are experiencing trouble with their relationships. There are so many people who are having a hard time with their jobs. There are so many people who are most hurtful is that when people do lose what or who they love, right? And then uh, things that topic about depression is that I really do pray for anyone out there who is experiencing depression, that sometimes of course uh, with how people can interact to each other is that through prayer. That is the most powerful way to do overcome sadness, right? Because sometimes we can just gain happiness and joy uh, from the things that makes us happy, most especially when people are passionate and you are passionate about life. When you exercise and make your body fit, you become happy, you become full of joy. When you are content, when you get your work prospering and you flourish in any field that you choose, and then you make yourself happy when you surround yourself with people who loves you, and most especially when you have the self-love and self-esteem, right? So it's like about when people who are in good position or this position in life, they are most likely the people who are really needed to reach out to those who are sad. So it's not an easy job for people who are really coping up with, I mean, it's not really easy for those people who are going through tough times. But of course, there are so many people out there who are good and has the intention to do good and to relieve the sadness or the hurt from people that they might encounter or might need their help. So it's like, to make things less complicated and to make things easier to say, is that it's just something that we need to do is to be understanding, less judgmental, and more kind. Because it's like when uh, when when the world is understood with the eyes of the heart, it is really more easier to grasp the thought that people should be more fearless, or let's say more brave and courageous. It's like that no matter what the troubles around the world, as long as we know that we have God that will uh, back us up, the whole universe will just work for for the benefit of those who are really praying, those who are really working for the good. Because I don't uh, doubt that God will really do protect those people who would really determine themselves to fully live, in the sense that no matter how they sin, no matter how people naturally are imperfect, but we can have the assurance that God is perfect. So the thing that has to do with understanding the world itself is somehow, in the simple word, is that uh, just know the truth that is God, of course, and then when you feel the love, you can find God everywhere you go. It's like, of course, there are things that do happen when you read and you see bad news, right? But when you kind of feel that you are comfortable and protected whenever you have the prayer time and meditation, sometimes, I mean, not just sometimes, but most of the time, it will relieve your senses to feel better, and you will feel more comfortable, and you will feel more free from fear. So it's like music. When people who loves to listen to music, good music, the the danceable music, the happy songs, those things are really helpful. I mean, people who struggle from fear and anxiety and things that has to do with worries, uh, it would really do help when people will be listening to good music, because there's such thing as music therapy, right? And then what I want to say is that uh, I have my own share of my fears, because I really have been through some fears in life. Like to share something, like I've the experience that I did have when it started, why I went to a psychiatrist, is when the sad story that happened to my relative was uh, she was brutally killed because she was raped. And I really pray for her soul, though it's just that when when uh when I became a more empathic kind of person, probably because I'm kind of some sort of having a spiritual supernatural kind of experience. Like when the moment that the that person died, my aunt called me, and she was looking for that person because she was really uh, have have lost her life. So ayun, so what I mean to say is that uh, I have been having the fear that moment when my aunt called, and I was really crying too loud. So it was so strange that I have felt such way. So that started a little bit of trauma in me, even if of course I've never been through too much trouble. I've always been protected and safe everywhere I go, and I'm so blessed and happy about that. Although I'm kind of feel like I am an empath. I kind of feel energy from spirits, or it may be so weird though, but kinda I feel so kind of strange about spirits. So to make the point straight is that there really do bad things that do happen to people. So the best way to just realize that we can be protected and safe and free from fear is that when we believe in the truth in God, that God will really back us up in every situation that we find ourselves in. So now I feel so more relieved and free from fear, actually, because uh, I have been more involved with something very funny, something very motivational, something that drives my senses more into music and passion. And it's like watching the people who are so positive in life. When you watch YouTube, when you watch, I mean, when I watch YouTube, when I watch, more YouTube videos or vloggers, most of the time they're the happiest people. So it is just viral and contagious. So when people like them are happy, then people who watch them eventually makes themselves feel better about themselves. So it's like me, I feel more happier now because I see people who are happy. Instead of watching bad news, I would just learn something new and watch things that makes me glad or happy because of the happy people. So to just generalize things that do happen is that uh, back to the topic about depression, it's just that when people get depressed, it's just, of course, yeah, we have to understand that, and we have to pray for them, and we have to pray for ourselves that we will be free from that also, so that it will be just a more situation kind of idea that people become less fearful. And what I mean to say is that when the whole world will be praying and meditating and become more in tune with the highest good, that's the moment that there will be less crimes, there will be more kindness around. It would be more like people will turn to do more good in the world and just create a place that seems to be, of course, like a whole kind of fairy tale, but that's how life is. I don't want to say that there's the yin and the yang, so there must be negative and positive, but I would like to say that people are striving to do good. More of us would be really into doing good because uh, they say when people who are good won't do anything, the evil will arise. And then I think it may be that difficult, but when I mean, it cannot be too difficult, but it depends to the situation because there are situations that people really go through hell just to bring goodness in the world. So it's just about the situation that we find ourselves in whatever situation. As long as we do good, no matter how small, it can go a long way. So every small thing that is done good, it has a big impact. So it's just a constant reminder that people should be mindful that there is God. So it's just that it's a Lenten season kasi. So I just want to concentrate on contemplation. So it's just that this way is communicating to the world around through videos. So I wish that you will strive to do good, because however we affect the people around us is really important, that we exist, that they feel our existence in the positive light. So just continue blessing the world, because everyone is a blessing. Everyone is created for a purpose, and everyone is uh, having the discernment through the heart and the wisdom that they will know, or we will know, what is the right thing to do, as long as we put ourselves the idea that God is there always in us. So we have conscience, and when God gives us conscience, we will be in the right track. Thank you so much.